What is this? We saw somebody coming in this and we saw a sort of seahorse or an eel or whatever it is. Okay, so at the first outset, it looked like there is one creature which is going inside the water. So this, if you see the surface level data, somebody comes from the flying balloon and sees in the telescope. At a surface level, if you see one animal in this. Okay, but when you go deeper, how many creatures do you see? So this is what happens with the data as well. At the surface level, something would be different. And when you go at a deeper level, something would be very different. So it is very important that you collect data. We are going to talk about sufficient data, necessary data, correct data, complete data, relevant data, and all that stuff. Okay. So why data is required is something that you have to be very clear. You have to separate what we think. Data helps us to separate what we think and what is really happening. Second, see, you should know the importance of data. That is why you should go. And sometimes we have preconceived ideas and theories. So we can confirm our theory. We are going to learn about what is called as TOH. TOH is nothing but test of hypothesis. Now, test of hypothesis is nothing but you have a conviction that this is what is right, but then you confirm or disapprove this claim. You have a claim that this is what is right, and you either validate your claim or reject your claim based on data. This is called test of hypothesis. Establishing the baseline of the performance, because unless you have the data, for example, baseline of your sugar level, how much should be your sugar level? Okay, 80, 120. So that's a baseline, okay? Can be at the most 90 or at the maximum maybe 110, 120. So that is the range in which you should operate. They have researched and find out that this is the best level for the best performance of the body. This should be the pressure level for the best performance of the body. So data helps us in establishing the performance. And of course, medical history, equipment history, history of somebody's performance. So data gives you the history of problem or history of something over a period of time. So data helps us in that. So you can measure the impact on the changes of the process. See, once you start collecting the data, like doctor will give you a dose of injection and then he'll monitor you. And then doctor gives you injection and then he will monitor the impact of what he has given on the changes that happens. Similarly, data helps us in the impact on the changes of the process. Identify and understand relationships and control the process. So when you have data, you can see, like for example, when a person is admitted in ICU, you monitor the process and you make necessary changes so that you can control and avoid solutions that don't solve the real problems. See, with data, the direction of the solution, data helps us in deciding the direction of the solution so that you avoid doing something which may not be useful to solve the problem. Okay, so desired data characteristics: sufficient data, relevant data, representative data, and contextual data. And when I say sufficient, it is impossible for us to collect large amount of data. Okay, suppose if you're going to launch a new soap in a country, how much data will you collect? Suppose for India has 130 crores of people. Do you collect data for 130 crores of people? It's definitely not, right? So will you collect for 130 people? No, that's also no. So we need to collect sufficient data. That is what, there is something called as a acceptance sampling plan, okay? Acceptance sampling. You need to collect relevant data. we understand the English word, what relevant means, and representative data. Okay, it has to be taken from one lot. When you're buying oranges and comparing, if you're going to compare the oranges of one shop, you need to collect oranges only from that shop. You cannot collect from various shops and say this sample is representative of the oranges in this one particular shop. And data must be relevant to that context. It should be contextual